Oh, I guess we're like, what to do? Hey, everybody, welcome to the Prof Sales YouTube channel. What did we just do?
We, by the hair of our chinny chin chins, got here on time, I think.
We ran in. It was fun. Okay, it was a little bit staged, but whatever.
It was a little silly.
But it was fun, so we're glad you're here. Thanks for stopping by today. This channel's about reselling, being a reseller, being in business for yourself, an entrepreneur on platforms like Amazon, eBay, Craigslist, all the local selling apps, as well as just your mindset and being positive. So we are glad that you're here.
Speaking of all the local selling apps, I just downloaded all 27 of them to my phone.
Are there really 27?
No, but there's a bunch. I got Garage Sale. I got 5 Mile. I got Let Go, Let It Go, Let It Go. I got Offer Up. I got something called C Plus for Craigslist, which you don't like so much because you don't like those third-party Craigslist apps. So how many of that? And then there's the Facebook to put your thingies on. So I have a lot of studying to do, don't I?
Yeah, so we actually have a live chat going right now that you can join if you're watching right now, and you can leave us a question or comment. But if this video, you don't get a chance to watch it right now and you see it afterwards, please leave a question or comment on the video as well, and we'll do our best to respond to it.
Yeah, because we love your questions and comments, especially when they give us somewhere to go. Like pose a challenge to conquer, a question to answer, a positive vibe.
A mountain to climb.
To spread to the masses.
A sea to cross. Where am I going with this? I don't even know. But anyway, someone thinks your singing is beautiful.
It is. Thank you. I don't do it often enough. Oh, but I have a prop. I'll be right back.
Oh, a prop for the Prof Sales show? I don't even know what she's going to get. So this could be really anything. Why are you not using a green screen background? Because we're not using the OBS software today, but we probably should start using that again because it allowed us to do some cool stuff. But I just got to get it back out. It's right there beside me. Just haven't gotten it lately. But good question.
We could do the show from like Bermuda or something, or the beach.
We should do that. Put like just a video back there running. That would be really cool. I don't know. That work? It might work.
I would like that very much.
So what's your prop? I don't even know.
Well, I don't know. I can only use it if, well, Adam's here, but Adam and Alex both have to be here for me to use the prop.
Okay. Well, we are not in the warehouse to answer someone's question, Ed. We are at home, but we just have a white background. That's all. It's blinds back there. Where's Bitcoin price going? I don't know, Diego. Bitcoin is just sitting there doing nothing. So this is one of those periods where you just kind of got to wait and see where it's going to go. And I wish I knew, and I would go ahead.
Ho, ho, ho. Barry's in the chat.
Oh, okay. So
hi,
Prof, make a dumpster dive live show. Yeah, that's
you know how we joke about first and lasts? Yeah. Although we'd get a great chuckle out of it, wouldn't we?
As someone who spent a lot of time in dumpsters, did that sound weird? That did. But I would just say that
like you've ever been in a dumpster.
I've been in dumpsters plenty of times.
I'm not talking about up here. I'm talking about like literally in a dumpster.
What is that? Never mind. No, I've been in dumpsters, and it's not a safe place to be. They kind of smell. They got sometimes dangerous stuff in them that can cut you or hurt you. There can be rodents, all kinds of things. So I'm not going to be doing any dumpster diving videos. I can tell you that.
So I can answer that question. Jay and Jazz Flip to Cash says, help, I bought a Burberry shirt and it's a fake. What can I do?
Don't sell it.
Let it go. Let it go. There you go. Same answer. And I don't mean to make light of it, but you can't resell it. One, you're not allowed to sell it. Even if you put in the thing, fake shirt.
Yeah, you can't do that.
You can't do that.
Because it's basically a counterfeit item, and you shouldn't even have anything to do with it. It would be, just imagine selling like a counterfeit car, you know, or something like, I mean, you wouldn't do that.
There's such a thing as a counterfeit car?
There could be. What do I know? But anyway, thanks for stopping by, everybody. That was the show. 5 minutes later. So today's show is, and a lot of people are here, 78 people already. So thank you very much for that.
Holy moly. What are you guys thinking? I'm just going to drink my tea.
They're thinking Wednesday's a good day to catch the show. And it is. It's hump day. It's Hey Camel. It's the middle of the week.
Did you just really go there?
I did. Those commercials were great back in the day. But we do want to talk about the topic a little bit here because a reseller friend of mine yesterday was bemoaning the lack of sales that he was having on eBay. And he had done many, many things. I'm not gonna say who he is because he could be here in the chat for all I know. And if he wants to identify himself, that's fine too. But he was talking about all the different things he had done to try to, pump up the sales and get things moving, and how he was down from last year, even though he had more listings up, and sort of all the same concerns we all have. And we wanted to talk about this kind of bigger question, is it worth selling on eBay anymore? We talked about selling clothing on eBay several months back. Is it worth that? But just in general, is it worth it? And first, we had a question here.
We have a couple of questions.
So sorry, getting distracted here. But we will get to it. Have you sold any Red Monkey jeans? You mean the RMCs? Is that what you're talking about? I would not sell those if I were you.
Jason doesn't like them. I think they're cool as all get out. And every time, now it's just to get a reaction. But now every time I find them, I'm like, hey, it's the first time I've ever seen them. Hey, can we sell these, sir? And the answer is always no. But I like them.
Yeah, you get Vero complaints sometimes. But anyway.
That's the one company, right? That's the company.
Yeah, that's the one. I mean, that was the only one. So I was like,
No, seriously, drummer. So the reason he doesn't sell them is because the company themselves gave us a Vero complaint. And they said, you can't sell our jeans. So once that happened once, we're like, yeah, we don't need to go down that road again. So we don't pick them up.
Yeah. So I don't know what you guys think about this question. If you can say in the chat, some people already are, is it worth selling on eBay? And that's an interesting question. It's kind of one of those questions like, Kaaren, I think about it like, is it worth doing? Like with anything, you think, well, is this worth doing?
Yeah, we talked about that today, didn't we?
Yeah, and Kaaren has been lately, I gotta say I'm really proud of her. She's really been pushing out some listings as of late. And it's been cool to watch her as a newer eBay seller. And I kind of forgot some of the things that, that were part of my journey when I was at that same point. And it's kind of cool to see those things again through a different perspective and a different, set of eyes.
Yeah, because I've been in the background for the last couple of years. Like I was never the lister. Like I know how to do it. I've always known how to do it, but I've never done it in volume. I've always been the quality controller, picture taker, whatever, right?
Right.
And it's interesting because my learning curve and the process over the last month or so has been, and actually it hasn't been a month or so. I think concentrated, it's been what, for the last two weeks, almost 2 weeks now.
Yep. Absolutely. So it's like she's kind of going back through all those things that I experienced, and it's pretty cool. But it brought to question in my mind this idea. It's like, is eBay worth it? Is selling on it worth it? And I don't know how you guys approach a question like that. Or maybe you don't even think about it that way, but I think you should at least, at some point ask yourself that question. Like with anything you do, is this worth it? And then you get into what does worth mean? And that's like a whole nother conversation, but we'll try to keep it constrained to just eBay.
So is it worth it?
I'm going to give an unequivocal answer.
Okay.
Sort of. And the answer is selling on eBay worth anymore? Here's the answer. Yes, with conditions. You know I was going to do that, right? It's like, excuse me, I got a little choked up there. Wow, that answer choked me up. I just want to say that let's just start with this. And you even mentioned this too. Like, eBay is not easy. So if you start out with the mindset of ask yourself, you're going to sell on eBay. Yeah, I'm going to do it. And it's going to be easy. You've already set yourself up to fail.
Well, and I think a lot of people come onto these forums, these chats, these videos, looking for the easy way out. Like people a lot of times just want you to not so much show them how to do it, but almost do it for them. And I think that's a trap. I don't think that's an effective way. You're
Right.
going to have to, like, people want the money, but they don't want to put in the blood, sweat, and tears to get there.
Yeah.
Right? Would that be
You're
accurate?
right. And you know, and it's not even just the work. The work, like Kaaren mentioned, is incredibly important, but it's also the mindset, the disappointment when things don't sell, or they don't sell for what you thought, or they don't sell in the time frame you thought. I love this new saying, like eBay is like doing a Rubik's Cube in the dark. I borrowed that from a sports guy. So, and I don't know, he probably borrowed from somebody too. But, you know, doing a Rubik's Cube in the dark would be pretty much impossible. Like you need to be able to see if the colors are, you know, matching up and so on. And eBay can be like that. It can be very frustrating because it seems like, you know, going back to my reseller friend, you push a button here and do this and run a sale here and make a markdown there and change this, and nothing good happens.
Yeah, and that's interesting. Even folks with, you know, even people that are crossing their T's and dotting their I's, even big store sellers that are doing everything right. They're listing every day or they're not. They're giving free shipping or they're not, or they're stroking the algorithms the best way they know how or not. Still have challenges. Like, it's still like there's no. Somebody said in the chat about
money, no problems. Look what I just did there.
Oh, I thought you were reading in the thing, but
no,
somebody,
I said that on my own.
I think one of the eds said there about people wanting a magic pill, right? Well, with eBay, there isn't one. Like, I don't think that any one of us can say, if you do this, this, and this, it's going to be perfect. It's going to be rainbows and unicorns and pots of gold at the ends of all of those rainbows, right? I just don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, no, you're all over it, because it's not going to happen, because it's not a get rich quick scheme, or even at all scheme. Like, I mean, if you, here's what's tough for people. If you could somehow define rich and you could count up the number of people who got rich by selling on eBay, it's a tiny percentage. It's got to be way below 1%. And you know what? That's the way it is with pretty much anything, because it's very difficult to reach the top. By definition, it's the top. You know, so whatever top you're looking at, to be the best or be near the best in something is hard, because there's a lot of people trying and there's a lot of factors that go into it. So eBay is not a get rich quick scheme, and it's not even a get rich scheme. It's not. You can get rich on eBay, but I wouldn't say that it's like a sure thing. I mean, I wouldn't say, and we even did a video about that, about, you know, eBay can make you rich, because it can, and in lots of different ways, not just monetarily, but you have to approach it with the mindset that it might not happen. It probably won't happen. And that's okay if that's true.
Well, and do you notice a common threads we pick up on? And I'm looking in the chat, and our friends that do this, and we have friends in the chat right now that we know that are smaller stores, bigger stores, whatever. And everybody that's doing well, it's like they're saying the same thing, right? You have to work. It's on backwards reseller, which I love the name, by the way. That would be like IOBR. Anyway, don't put emotion into it. You can relate to that, right? It's just business. Study, research, always better your skills. List, just do it, right? And everybody is, you know, everybody that's doing it and has been doing it says pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, Melissa says, if you have passion and love what you do, it will work, because hard work will be fun and not seem like work. And I had a point about this passion idea, because I've had disagreements with some of my reselling friends about this topic, about the necessity of passion for what you do. I think if all you have is passion, you won't succeed. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, that's not enough. It's not enough, but it's a necessary component. And here's why: because passion will carry you through when your results do not. And because there's going to come a time when your results are not what you thought they would be. They're not meeting your needs, your expectations. That will happen. In fact, it will happen over and over and over. It's happened to us many times. And that's where your passion kicks in and says, you know what, I'm going to keep persevering, because I know that this can work. And this is just one of those moments where there's a lull. There's a glitch in the matrix, if you will. I don't know, because the reality is anyone who was ever really successful in business had those lulls. They had those periods when they failed. It all went to you know what, and they picked themselves up and said, I'm going to keep going forward. And that's really the only thing that separates them from most other people, because most people, when they start hitting those sticking points, they quit. They give up. And you and I talked about this, and I was using the poker analogy. If you quit on selling on eBay or really anything, your chance of success is then zero. You have no chance of succeeding if you're not playing. Zero probability of getting a win. If you play, you have some chance of winning, succeeding, whatever that looks like to you, but you also have a chance of failing. So you need both. So I think that you have to have passion there too. It's not enough, but it's absolutely a critical component. Some people are putting some things here in the chat too. We'll respond to.
Yeah, we have to get back to it. But we also talked about, passion is good, but if your thing is, you're passionate about, I don't know, butterfly catchers. Maybe nobody wants to buy your butterfly. Like, it's not enough to just have passion. It will carry you through, but you need more. You have to hone your skills and constantly evolve.
Yeah, no, absolutely. People are talking about that. Let's see here.
And one of the things I said to you earlier was, and I've seen both sides of it, but I'm doing my the things that I'm listing here or there. And at the rate that I'm going, there's no way I can do it. Like, I don't see it as a full-time income for me.
Right.
It couldn't be, because of the things that I'm selling. It's all over the place. Like, one of the lessons that I've learned that we actually share with other people is to niche. Like, I was thinking about Tino this morning, and there's a reason he sticks with shoes and shoes alone, right? Can you imagine if I gave him like a pair of women's track pants or something, like in the middle of all that? He would literally have to stop what he was doing,
right?
Clear the shoe cleaning table off and figure it out. And it would stop. It would stop progress. It would halt progress altogether. And then you'd have to look this up. And that's what I'm doing with almost everything. Like, I listed a couple of things today that were denim. And so I processed them as I would jeans. And it was easy. Like, it came to me, like, the pictures were the same. The shipping was the same, PFRE, whatever. But all these one-offs, you have to look them up. You have to compare. It's just...
It's very time consuming when you have to jump in and out of a niche.
So I agree, like niching and finding something or a group of somethings that you can sell well, know well. I think that's a benefit. It's an advantage for sure.
One of the things a lot of people are complaining about right now and seems to be a ongoing complaint, is how the rules change on the platform. And they're not, I mean, you're right. They do change. If you're one of those people and you're complaining about the rules changing, you are correct. They do change, and it's eBay's sandbox, and they're going to keep changing them 100%. They're going to keep doing what they think is right for their business. Their business model is not your business model. They are not beholden only to you as a seller, nor only to buyers. They have shareholders as well who are part of this equation. They have a public image to send out there, and they don't always get it right, quote unquote, but it's their decisions to make. It's not mine or yours. So again, if you want to be on an e-commerce platform that never changes the rules, and that's like your biggest stickler, your biggest issue, I would suggest creating your own, because there isn't one out there that's not going to change the rules and terms and conditions of what it takes to sell on the platform. So you might as well give up on that daydream. It's not happening.
Well, and hey, Susanna, how are you? She brings up a good point about her frustration is that people either can't or won't pay what they once did for certain items. Sure, it's going to change. It's going to fluctuate. But it makes me think of something that we were talking about this morning as far as that emotional attachment. And we talk about this all the time, that people, just because you brought it up to me, you made some joke as I was working, like, are you going to sell that? And I'm like, I don't know. And it got me to thinking, like, maybe I will, like, maybe I won't. Like, some of the things that I listed, one or two, I listed because it needed to be done. I want to give it a try. I want to try to get it out of here and move on.
Right.
But just because you bought it on your cruise to Bermuda doesn't, and you love it and it brings back memories of that guy or that time or that whatever, it doesn't mean that's going to translate into value for the person on the other end. And we run into that at yard sales all the time. We run into that on eBay, online, any sort of reselling item when it's coming from not a third party, but a person to person. There's that emotional attachment. And you don't, I mean, you don't know. There's no way to translate that onto eBay. So it kind of reinforces some of the things you don't know if they're going to sell. And it's interesting because just because you like them doesn't mean someone else is going to buy them.
Yeah. And you talked about this point too, about being a full-time seller.
Oh yeah. It sounds really romantic, doesn't it?
It's not.
And we get asked about it all the time, right? Like everybody's like wanting to make the leap. You know, neither one of us work a corporate 9-to-5 anymore. And so a lot of people come in and want to know, you know, what's that like? And it, you know, it's not easy. We have friends, you know, Luke is a great example. He's young enough to be grinding a 40+ hour week, a work week, right? He's doing a full-time job. And then he's doing this eBay thing on the side. And his version of on the side could equivocate to someone else's full-time. Like he hits it,
right.
And he hits it pretty hard. But the sound of, oh, I sell on eBay and I'm self-employed, it's been romanticized a little bit. And, you know, make no mistake, it's not just going to come easy. Like people hear it and they're like, oh yeah, I can do that.
You know, and it just hit me. Euro said in the chat, emotionalist people are great sellers for eBay. I mean, you're right. And I think what's evolving and changing here is that the emotionalist approach to selling on these platforms will make you more successful because you won't have all these ups and downs, won't drive you crazy. But I think eBay, the way it started, and people who've been on the platform a long time, it has been romanticized. You know, and that was kind of its appeal way back when there were no photos and people had to send you a check and you had to wait for it to clear to ship the item. And now it's become more, I don't know, technologically advanced. It's, you know, I mean, and that's changed the way that people buy and sell on the platform now. And that's going to keep changing. I mean, so I think taking the emotion out of it, I mean, you can have emotion and passion for what you're doing, but taking the emotion out of the results is important because the results will drive you nuts if you start looking at them over, you know, if you live and die by your sales each day, and you feel the need to get onto Facebook and post 74 posts about how your sales suck every time, you know, there's a blip, you are probably not suited for this business. It is going to drive you nuts. And we certainly don't need to, like, that's not going to help you. I mean, it's not going to help you. It's the community's not going to know what to say really other than, oh, we're sorry, it's happened to us too.
I got an idea. What if instead of posting all that gobbledygook, you know, about how much it sucks, what if you spent that time like researching a new niche or tweaking the listings that you already have or looking at a different platform or something like that? Like, how does that even happen? Well, I mean, I know how it happens. It's easier, right? It's easy to have a knee-jerk reaction to something as opposed to trying to make it better. I get it.
Yeah. I think that, you know, it's just one of those things where, you know, you got to find your peace with it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, every day I wake up and I've got to try to find my peace with it. And some days I'm like, yes. And other days I'm like, no. And I think, and there's a lot of days in between those two, but it can be very difficult. That's for sure.
Well, and it doesn't happen overnight either, right? It can take a long time to get good at it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm looking in the chat, Joe, Ninja, Goog, and I'm going to leave some people off that have been doing this for a long time, right? You just didn't like, all right, maybe with the exception of Joe, you didn't just jump into it and you were a pro at it, right? It took some time.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's very important. So, you know, going back to the topic of the video, is selling on it worth it? I still think it is. But again, it comes with all those conditions about your mindset towards it, your approach towards it, your expectations. You know, and we've set expectations this year just to grow the business. And we're actually going this weekend. You're like, is he going to mention that? Yeah, we're actually going this weekend to do some new sourcing. I guess that's the right word. We're going to be driving out of town and kind of tweaking something new that we've thought about for our model that now will work with the new warehouse space a little bit better since we have the space to do it. So we're going to be driving out of town to, go in a slightly different direction. And
hopefully we'll get to visit some friends along the way.
Yep, visit some friends on the way. And hopefully, that will be a new sort of profitable niche for us that, so you got to keep growing and evolving in this. I mean, there's no way to just sit back and say, oh, I've got it all mastered and it's never going to change. And this is the way I'm going to do it forever. I mean, that's just not the way the world works.
Well, and in addition to a nice drive through the mountains, we're always like, we love, I won't speak for you. I love going and meeting new people. The selfies are cool too.
Meeting new people.
But I love to see how different people do different things. I even love to see how different people do the same thing that we do. Like, it's amazing how everybody has their own system.
Oh, yeah.
And it works for them. And I can't say that there's ever been a meeting, conversation, visit, meetup, or other that we didn't learn or glean something from that interaction.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and, from the day we had this warehouse opportunity come open, I realized that I didn't want to fill it with 10,000 eBay items. Of the way we were doing it now. Like, it didn't make sense to me. It's like, it would be so difficult to go out and source, and figure that out. Like, it would take 2 or 3 employees. It would be a big process. So I started thinking about how can we make use of this space in a better way? And then this particular opportunity has come up over the course of the last, 4 or 5 days. And we're going to go check it out and see if it makes sense and bring back some stuff to sell and see if it'll work for us. And I think it will. And it'll create kind of its own whole new thing if it does. I know I'm being like cryptic here, but I don't know that it's really going to happen. And I'm still fleshing out sort of what it even looks like, honestly.
All we know right now is we're going to take a 6-hour drive. We're going to maybe drive through some pretty mountains, might see some snow, and we're going to meet an amazing fella.
Yep.
And have lunch and watch the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's right. It's the Super Bowl.
Am I allowed to say that word?
The big game. Yeah, the big game. We might get a
rhymes with duper coal.
Duper. Snooper. Never mind.
Snooper shoal.
Snooper shoal. Yeah, so it should be, and that's the thing, guys. Like, if you're not going to do, it goes back to if you're asking if eBay is worth it, you're probably going to ask that question about anything. Is a job worth it? Is a new house worth it? Whatever it is it worth it? And I don't know how to answer that for you guys other than you have to come up with some definition of what you mean by worth. And then are you willing to put in what it takes to get that worth? Knowing that you might not get it when you want it, the way you want it, the same rate. Some of you in this chat right now can end up being $1 million a year sellers on eBay for all I know. Maybe some of you are, but you didn't start at that point. You didn't start there. You started much smaller. You started knowing nothing and it grew into something. And maybe it will for you if you have aspirations to move up the ladder, so to speak. It's your own ladder. It's like there's nobody else you need to compare yourself to. It's just your own self. So that's all I try to look at. But, decide what worth means to you and proceed from that. I mean, I think that's the only really advice you can give somebody on whether or not this thing is even worth it.
Yeah. And, can we go to the chat now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because Adam brought up, and it's funny because I think Ninja said something about you can't ride from one side of Texas to the other in 6 hours. So speaking of Texas, Adam brought up earlier about the Green Room event in June this year, right?
Yeah.
And yes, Adam, we're going. I'm going this time. And, who cares about the tacos? I want to see the bats. That's why I'm going. I don't care about all that reseller stuff. Whatevs. I want to see the bats whoosh fly from under the bridge.
Yeah,
and if I can see that, I'll be fun. And I'll get to meet Deb, or I'll get to meet her because I haven't met her in person. Tanya. I'm already planning some meetups in Austin, Texas with the ladies.
Yeah.
Drummer, where do you live, by the way? I can't visit you if I don't know where you live.
Yeah, good point. What else we got going on? We got 144 people watching.
Ooh,
oh my gosh.
That's like a record for a Wednesday.
Yeah. Did you see? I mean, that's pretty crazy. So yeah, let's see here.
And Joe, aren't you coming here? Didn't you say you were coming to?
Where does Joe live at anyway? I don't even know.
He's in California, I think. But he's coming here, like to visit family or something, right?
Yep.
And I think you just sent me a personal friend request. You changed your name on Facebook or something, so we need to work on that. Oh, hey Luke, were your ears ringing? We were talking about you. Good stuff, I promise.
Yeah, Luke's gonna start. He's gonna start some new stuff too with his channel, I think.
Yeah, talk about buying. Like we talk about smalls, he's buying bigs, like houses, right?
Yeah,
real estate.
Seriously, real estate. But
I covet your model already.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna, yeah, I mean, you sort of always have to think about diversifying your business, whether it's within eBay or on to other platforms or going a whole different direction like real estate. I mean, that just. Right? I mean, that just kind of makes sense.
He's playing Monopoly for real.
Should I show them my new setup?
Oh, Jason has a show and tell, y'all. Wait till you see this.
Well, you know, so Luke kind of inspired me actually in a weird way.
Go figure, Luke. You're inspirational.
Hold on. I got to find the photo here because I don't know. Let's see here.
Did you download it to your
Yeah. So that's getting close. Let me see if I can download this photo for you guys. I'll send it over here and then I can show you guys. So Luke recently bought a new, what did you buy? Hang on, let me share this. So Luke recently bought a new photo setup for a photo box.
Bye.
So
make them away.
Down one.
You make it go away.
Yeah, hang on. Let's see. Let me see where this photo is. Oh yeah, here we go. All right, so let's see what we got here. I'm going to show you guys this new setup. So Luke bought this new photo box to take photos of like shoes and other things, I think, and it kind of inspired me. And I started looking at photo boxes, you know, to take photos on. Started looking on Amazon for one that would work for me. And one of our tricky things is that with jeans and so on, it's very hard because usually you do like a full length shot. And at that point, you know, like that, there's not really a photo box that's big enough for that. But I thought, you know, if we could find one at least just for shoes, it would sort of make sense because we were struggling in this particular room sometimes to get the light right. That rhymed. I just realized that.
You're a poet.
I'm a poet.
But we already know it.
But we already know it. So I decided to make my own. And you guys can absolutely rip off this design.
We'll charge you royalty. No, just kidding.
Yeah, this little design that I kind of came up with here, I think is, I don't know, it's fairly ingenious. But
can they see it?
I don't know if it's ingenious is the right word. Hang on a second. Let me just download this other photo really quick. And hopefully I'm not going to screw this all up. And I'm going to show you guys what I kind of came up with here. So I had these foam boards laying around. And I bought them like 10 for $10 way back when at Michael's and got them for, so basically $1 a piece. I said, you know, that's basically what the inside of all these photo boxes are. So I just created my own. And it looks like this. So now you can see, this is what the setup looks like. And basically it's just the 4 pieces you can see there. I'm going to try to show you a photo I took here in a second too. But it's just the 4 pieces, and one's like full length on the bottom there under the shoes. Like that's just a full piece. The 2 sides I cut, and then the back is another full piece. And I basically just taped them together so that you can, you know, basically you can just fold them. So I'm going to show you what a photo looks like with those that I took just recently, the same shoes that you see laying there. So let me see if I can get this up and see what you guys think. So there's a photo I just took with it. I think it looks pretty good.
And you should say you took it with an iPhone 6S.
I took it with an iPhone 6S. I put my softbox lights above it, not very straight as you can see from the previous photo. But so basically all the lights reflecting off the bottom of the sides. There's light coming in from above, but we don't have a light on in this room. But I think that photo looks pretty good. I don't know what you guys think, but that's a very cheap. We'll come back. Hang on. Let me get these all off the screen here. I got like too many windows open. This is crazy. So I think that's like a cheap solution. I mean, those foam boards only cost $1 a piece, and you're going to get a nice reflection reflecting around from the light if you have it kind of coming above like that. It's a wide area. Those boards are, I can show you what one looks like. Actually, I'd actually tape this together. I don't know if I can really show this or not. I'm going to try. This has got disaster written all over it. So you can see that this was Karen's idea. So they're taped. You can see like they're taped right there on the seam. So both pieces kind of do this little, you know, they kind of open up and then they just fold back together. And the whole board is basically this long. I'm showing you behind Karen's head. The board is 30 inches long. So it's basically a 30-inch wide light box with 20-inch sides, and then you can put one on the top if you want it as well, but you have to have some way for the light to come in if you do that.
And I would have probably used a darker tape, because the point of the tape, as well as being functional, is you don't want light to come through that crease. That can be an issue. And the reason Jason was explaining, just to make it really simple why it works, is because light is reflecting throughout the box, and it's like this self-contained ball of light, and it equals itself out. That's why that picture is so crisp and so balanced and so correct. Like that's what those, they're not in here, but that's what those shoes look like. Like I don't think you've ever, and I don't mean anything by this, but I don't think you've ever taken that good a shoe picture ever.
That was funny, but you're right.
Yeah, but right?
Yeah, you can see just in a pair, these are the shoes. I think the photo looks pretty darn close to what you just saw. So if you want to create like a quick light box for yourself, there's a way to do it. Now you're still going to need a light source. And the ones you get on Amazon are great because they come in with like LED light strips in them. And sometimes you can move those around. So they've got their own sort of built-in light. But I realized when I did that, looking at that design, you're still going to have some weird shadows occasionally just based on where the item was setting and where the strips were. And the boxes that you'll buy on there are not, I wouldn't say they're expensive, but they're not cheap either. Like the cheapest decent ones I saw are like $70. And the one that like Luke has is really nice. It's about 130. But if you guys are interested in just kind of a quick, easy way to do it, you know, that's a very cheap way to make a light box you can use to photograph really anything.
Yeah. And Luke, he already sent you a picture earlier today. All you really missed was the awkward show and tell.
Yeah, and the bottom panel, the bottom foam board, if that gets dirty, you just replace it. You just replace it or flip it over, use the other side. I mean, and it will get dirty eventually, but it can actually be clean. So oh, Large, thank you very much for the super chat. I just saw that. Thank you very much. That's awesome.
Thank you so much for always being here and always being so supportive.
I know, right? Nice. That was great. So we, I don't know. I just want to share that with you guys. I just started thinking about it today, and I was like, man, and all those light boxes that I was reading about, they all had some issue. You know, like in the review, somebody was like, this is this, and it was nothing huge, but I just thought maybe I can just, you know, build something, because I have such amazing building skills.
No, you just get something in your head and you just don't let it go. So
how about a curved back? Well, my back's a little curved.
That was funny.
Yeah, you could do that too. You could, there's a lot of, you could get different colored boards. Obviously you could do a black, you know, a black setup, or do part of it in a different color to create a different effect. For sure. You just have to play with that. And I took that photo just like really quick, guys. I didn't even play with the phone any. You could theoretically, I mean, you could set your phone up on a tripod and just, you know, have one of those little remotes, those little Bluetooth remote, say it's an iPhone or Android, and you can just use that to take the photos. You don't even need to move the phone. You can just move the product, get it where you want it, take the photo, move the product, take the photo, and move on. So lots of different ways to do that. I've used those little Bluetooth remotes where they're really cool. The only problem is they usually don't seem to last that long. Like the battery dies really quick. I don't know why. At least that was my experience.
Well, and Searching asks a great question. Should they renovate a room for prep and set up for eBay selling? If you have the space, oh, yes, a room would be awesome. You know, so many of us just sort of make do with the space that we have, albeit frustrating at times. And our goal is to have actually 2 rooms worth of prep and processing actually. And with regard to the photo area, yes, that curved back that we were joking about earlier, ideally that there's no crease. Like the thing that we'll run into problems with this makeshift foam cube is that if you see the seams, you don't want to see the seams because they're not going to photograph nicely.
Right.
So you're really going to want to be able to put, like the shoes, we have an acrylic base that we put them up on, so that elevates them enough, or just lay them flat. And the foam board, it does get, somebody said earlier that they did that, they used to do it this way, and it gets dirty easily. Yeah, so then you'll just have to replace it. But basically you're taking a photo down or up and just crop out those. If for some reason you get the creases, just crop them out.
Yeah.
But in the big, like we've talked about, you know, sometimes I'll take this white background, smooth it out, drape it over the table, and it creates that curve. So there's no seam. It's just sort of a lost in space kind of vibe going on. The item is just sort of floating there. And we'll put the mannequin in front of that. We'll put it on the table. But yes, that works well.
Yeah. And a couple things here. Adam says drywall tape on the corners. We just use shipping tape, believe it or not.
Clear at the moment.
So that way it can kind of fold. And if, you know, if it goes bad, we can just put another piece on it.
Well, and you know what, drummer? I actually thought about that. Caulk would just, a white caulk, and you'd run the bead with your finger. That actually might be pretty cool.
Yeah. The only problem with that is then you need to leave it set up all the time, which is fine if you have room to do it. But it's nice if it kind of folds down like I just had it. You can put it away for when you need it next. But either way.
Well, yeah, and that, but a certain kind of caulk, it's not called caulk, but it's a rubbery stuff. That would be malleable enough. I bet you could still fold it. Right?
Oh yeah, maybe that could be.
Oh, and hey, Mark said earlier something about he brings the light up from under. Hey, message us, send me a picture of that. I would love to see that, Mark. That's very interesting.
Well, one of the things that I was struggling with when I was looking at the photo boxes was at first I really wanted one that would fit on my desk. I'm like, man, it'd be cool to set shoes right here on my desk where my computer's here too, and just photo them and just transfer right to the, and then I can only fit about a 16 to 18 inch cube box there. And I thought, okay, well, that's a good size. And then I realized that won't work. And here's why. Because when it's that small of a box, you're going to start seeing the sides. You're going to see the seams. You're going to see where it comes together. And that's going to change. And it's going to change the way the light is. So having like a wider one, even if it's not taller, just wider, you know, actually, I think will make a big difference in being able to keep the seams out of the shot.
And hey, Deb, were your ears ringing? I was just talking about you too. And yes, a white paper roll, we're actually going to play with that, but like the giant white paper roll, right? We're going to get the big one and bring it down as a background, right?
Yeah, that's what we talked about doing, at least for, at least it could be used for jeans and so on. But I think for shoes, the photo box might be the better way to go. Now that we really have been playing around with a little bit. You know, and granted, that one would struggle a little bit with boots, but you could just lay boots over on their side and turn the photo. Oh, tip I heard from somebody, another seller. Gosh, I can't remember who told me this. And if you're watching, please take credit for it because this was not my tip. So one of the problems that you might have on eBay is that when you take photos and you upload them for your iPhone, and then you go to do the listing on a laptop or a PC, that when you use the photo loader part, it will rotate the photos. And it'll rotate it in a way that you don't want them rotated. And you're like, then you got to go in, rotate each one, click the save button. It's really annoying. It takes time, and it's like, So one of the tips that one of my viewers gave me was, so if you got an iPhone, and probably it might work for Android too, take the photo in square mode, like put it in square mode, which is what you want because then you don't have to crop anything, and turn it so that the home button is on the right. That would be, you know, my right in this case. But keep it in square mode. So you're putting the phone in landscape mode, but you're actually using square, and then take the photo. It should stay oriented correctly when you go in to import that photo, and it'll stay in the right way. I tried it with a test run the other day with several photos, and it did seem to work. I guess it's still possible that eBay's photo loader could do something wacky with one here and there, but it was much better than it had been. I mean, there was literally a couple photos the other day where I had to go in and rotate every single photo. And it was like, and then click save and wait. And it's like, man, it's just so annoying. So try that tip. Put your phone in square mode, turn it so the home button is on the right, keep it in square mode, and take the photo and see if that'll help with that rotation problem. So
I also noticed that if you edit the photos on your iPhone before you upload them, that they orient correctly when you upload them. Like if you even do one little smidge crop or otherwise, it's not wrong. Like I noticed that this morning when I was uploading some pictures.
Yep. And Melissa Francis says get white vinyl white material, like boat material, and you can wipe it clean for your background. That makes sense because that stuff for boats is awesome.
It does, but it's a little reflective. That's why.
So you have to watch that, right?
Yep. But the matte foam boards, anything matte will absorb the light more than it'll reflect it. And Susanna mentioned, yes, they do sell presentation boards. And that's how Jason started. I suggested that he get one of those. Remember the 3-sided foldy-uppy thing?
Yeah.
But they're expensive.
Yeah.
Like that cost us less than $3 or a little more than $3.
About $4.
No, it's two. It's roughly, it could be
it's
two
3
boards.
pieces, but there's one on the bottom too. So yeah.
So it didn't cost us anything
less
to
than
make
$5.
And we could actually make it. But right. And the ones that you buy at Office Max are a little bit more expensive than that. Yes. And you have to watch the white. Somebody mentioned that when they use those, sometimes it's a gray. You're right. White is not always white. And you're really not going to know that until you start taking pictures with it. Sorry, I wish I could give you a brand that would do the trick, but you're absolutely right. Sometimes white is not white.
Absolutely. So, well, thank you guys for coming out today. Big turnout today. We appreciate it. Check out the description for lots of helpful links and so on. Sorry, I don't know why the Google Hangout toolbox is broken and I can no longer put it below until something new comes along the lower third. But we really appreciate you guys coming out today. And what else do you think they should do, Kaaren?
Oh, please smash the like button ever so gently.
Smash it ever so gently, but
and I'll wear my prop on Friday, Prof.
Oh, okay, you didn't, yeah,
because it's kind of, it won't be as silly if I do
without
it now.
your people here.
Well, and yeah, because I mean, Adam, no offense, but Alex the pirate, hint hint, should be here, I think, because it's kind of piratey.
I agree.
Matey, smash the like button.
All right, guys. I hope you have an awesome rest of your Wednesday. We'll be back in a couple days at most on Friday, and then we might even do something live during the Super Bowl day for our trip. Who knows?
Who knows? The shadow knows.
I don't know if we could do that through the mountains, and would we even care? I don't know. But anyway, thank you guys so much for coming out, and we'll see you all very soon.
And as always, this is Just Ask Kaaren
and Prof Sales
saying good sales to you.